Yo, well, peeps, welcome to my first stream. Pretty much gonna break down my track. Same Mistake with Josh Rubin came out on Monstercat, maybe like 2 months ago. So yeah, I figured today would be a good day to break it down. All right, cool. We'll go ahead and start the track breakdown. So with Same Mistake, this track actually started off with Josh sending me just a vocal that he had used before. This is the original, pretty much the Same Mistake. Scared to lose it all. Yeah, this is the original. So real quick, this is actually a different producer. I didn't do this. This is actually the original vocal that was on it, and then I kind of took it from there. Once he sent me the vocal stem, but that's what it sounded like before. So the original vocal he sent me was going to be this. This is the main one. And quick disclaimer, I'm on my PC right now and I actually made the song on my Mac, so a lot of the plugins won't actually work, so things might sound different. Also, I didn't master this, Monstercat mastered it, so also my master will sound different.
I don't understand it, this wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it, I've done what I can. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Thing is, I feel like I needed to make it like a little bit like wider and larger, and I do a lot of groups. So like on my main group, there's actually a CLA vocal, but it's disabled because it's I don't have it on my PC, and this simple EQ, just cutting out the low end below 70, and then mix show, just kind of glue the vocals together. And then on the group for the main vocal on before it gets like the chorus like build part, I just have another Nectar 3, which is just doing like a little high end and then some little small ducks, and then I have some EQs taking out like a bunch of peaks that were in the vocal, and so I actually take out quite a bit of peaks. It's always been my thing. Once you have the vocals, then we start doing our effects. So we have this really wet kind of reverby layer underneath.
I don't understand. This wasn't the plan.
Super like wet in that. And then we have our high layer.
Don't understand it. This wasn't the plan.
Actually sounds pretty bad.
Wanna demand it. I've done what I can.
Then we got our low layer.
I don't understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can.
Then once you put all those together,
I don't understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can.
so felt about right. Kind of taking it up a little bit. So I actually had to group these separately from that part to kind of this part, like the hook. This because his vocals are a little bit more wide on this part, so I had to kind of process them differently. And then I'm also adding a few different layers. So for the main part, I do have like the same thing, the main lead, the effects with all the reverb, the high, the low. Only thing I'm adding here is this vocoder layer, which will sound like this.
Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance.
Which is like the main kind of thing you kind of hear in the hook underneath the vocal. I normally have S1 image on it, just kind of spread it out, make it a little bit wider. So yeah, pretty much I have the vocoder routing to a massive patch, which is off, and that's going to sound like this. And that's literally just stock massive. Like right when you open massive, that's what it sounds like. It's like some square waves. So yeah, that's off, and you just kind of you have the vocoder routing to that. And then I had to take out a bunch of peaks on the EQs because vocoders are kind of hit the high end pretty harsh. And then I have a compressors kind of bring down the peaks because he kind of spikes and kind of goes all over the place. So I just kind of have a compressor, it's just like a stop preset generic compressor just to kind of catch those peaks. And then we got the speech enhancer, which is a multi-band. And then we have another glue compressor, which is going to just catch the peaks a little bit more. Just because without all this, like it kind of gets kind of nutty. So when you have those all layered together, my high layer, my mid layer, my low layer, and my effects, you have
Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Absolutely love that vocal. So Josh's has really clean and like easy vocals to work with, so I really didn't have to do much. It's just kind of capturing the lyrics correctly. Yeah, that's pretty much all we have for the vocals. So for the intro, I kind of started off with piano, which is going to sound like this. Mostly everything's frozen, just because I produce on my Mac, which just can't handle anything. So got my own spare piano, layer 1, which is like a nice little road. Kind of pans from left and right. Another Alicia's Keys piano. This is going to be a Bach piano, I believe it is. Kind of just like a higher layer. Just super simple stuff. And then you got Ableton's stock grand piano. And so I feel like it kind of needed like a little bit of spice to it. So what I did is I resampled all 4 pianos, I guess, and then reversed the first hit of each note to where you get these reverb swells. Like not reverb swells, but it's kind of like reverses back into the piano. Solid piano layers. So like I'm like really big on like building atmospheres. So what I usually have in every single song I have is like atmospheric kind of like white noise underneath. Kind of like this sort of white noise. Can't really hear it, but if I were to turn it up, I have that in like every single track. Going into like my synth layers, I've been using this little art thingy since Fly actually. This is kind of just like a good transition art. And I kind of just use that to kind of get over to like new parts. And what that is, it's just arpeggiator on a massive, like the stock massive thing. And then I'm just EQing out 150 hertz. So that way I'm just getting like mostly the high end of it. And then kind of a longer delay, kind of like a bigger delay. Just because I needed to like kind of fill like all this space into like right here. Until it goes again pretty much, so I kind of have a high delay, but I have to do a volume automation because sometimes you can't hear it and sometimes you can't. So that's just kind of like an important thing I've been trying to do. And then I have this Omnisphere guitar actually. Kind of like kind of feels like some Wild Wild West stuff. So that's kind of like the bass that you hear on like the intro. So pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep trying to build the track up pretty much over time. So I'm a big layer guy. So like each time I'm trying to add more and more stuff in. So for my layers,
Done what I can.
Start bringing in my stuff right here.
And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hear the truth.
I use Spire a lot because they have like I like to do like a lot of like trancey sound and stuff. So I have this layer. Nice little pad. I have this guy right here. Kind of like a cool little ARP I found in Omnisphere. And then once again, I'm just using the arpeggiator, Ableton's arpeggiator. And then we have this guy. It's just like I like the women's choir ooms. They're great, very great for layers. And then it's kind of EQ out the low end. And then these are gonna be, I'm pretty sure they're saws. This is my saw group. So we're gonna have all these saws kind of filtered out. So like super, just building the atmosphere. So all these here, we have this. And so I'm pretty sure at this part I had a filter on it. I'm just like opening the filter on this part, so that way these can kind of come through a little bit more to kind of add like the epicness. Because I really just wanted to like emphasize how beautiful and epic Josh's vocals were, because they're just so good, and I feel like I need to kind of build on the bottom of that. All together for this we have,
I don't understand it, this wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it, I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hear the truth. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand the chance.
I like to like use like a lot of like music box sounding things. Use a lot of Redux to kind of distort them a little bit, get them like a kind of like 8-bit fills from them almost. So I have these like kind of accenting in the background. Just super simple blimps. So yeah, with this part, I feel like I need to kind of make it kind of orchestral. Is that the right word? Orchestral? I don't know. Anyways, so we have our, this is my drum group. This saturation, glue compression, drum pumper. Drum pumper is a lifesaver. If you don't have it, get drum pumper. Fucking awesome. So we have my kick, which I usually will have my my kick tight usually off on the breakdown, and then I'll turn my kick tight on just so like my kick's not fat on the breakdown. It actually is off, but it automates. My automation's all kind of wacky on here. So we have our drum group doing its thing. So also one thing I like to do is on my breaks, I layer little notes, like it's just playing like the key of the song, which is just B, and I put it really high. So this is what you kind of hear in the beginning. So if I turn that up, ooh! So pretty much that's going throughout like the whole entire breakdown. And then I have these like little rods, these little seashells. I know, it's just all things to make it kind of more beautiful. I feel like with like melodic music, you're just like about capturing emotion, and that's like your main goal. So you gotta like kind of build all the aspects around it to kind of capture that a little bit more. And then on this part, I'm actually adding more when it gets to the epic part. Though. I actually add more piano. God. Kind of sounds like I could play piano, doesn't it? But I sure can't. Yeah, it's all about like the suitable stuff, Gray. It makes like the biggest difference. So yeah, I have like 7 piano layers going on right now. I'm pretty sure this was gonna be something, but I just turned it off because I probably didn't need it. But that is a great piano. The Omnisphere is literally the best thing. So then we got more layers, more layers. So we got our mid bass underneath. And then we got our sub following the same pattern. So with all that together, it's mostly just a piano at this part mostly, but with that and the low end. What piano is that? An Omnisphere? Let's look. Piano is going to be, this one's Frozen Piano Dreams, and then the other one's going to be Dream Tack Piano. Pretty much anything that says dream in it when you're making melodic music is gonna work. That's just my theory. So yeah, I just had the piano kind of EQ'd out. Oh yeah, also a huge thing on piano. You want like those like kind of like warm sounding pianos, like those like Adventure Club sounding pianos. Cut your pianos, like cut all the high end out. That's like one of my biggest tricks I've learned recently is just cut your pianos, like hold the high end. Because my pianos sound like this. Ugh. I mean, honestly, it's not that bad, but I don't know, if you cut them, it gives them like a little bit more of a warm feel. Yo, what's good, Gabe? I think that's pretty much it for the build. Mostly. Yeah, and you start introducing the leads. So these are the leads, and they actually sound pretty bad. It's actually a really bad lead, but on top of everything, it works. So what we have is it's a Spire. It's Spire, but I just don't have the correct Spire on this computer. And got the reverb. I got started with kind of make it a little bit wider. I'm cutting kind of a lot because like with the Redux, it's kind of creating like this crazy frequency, and the low end it just sounds horrible. And like you'll see my Redux right here, which is actually creating that harshness in the sound. And then we got a phaser, more EQ, delay, more reverb, and then we got like a slight compression. Well, not slight compression. That's kind of a lot of compression. Pretty much what I wanted to do is just take the sound and just distort the shit out of it and make it sound really, really bad because it kind of gave you like the futuristic feel. So this is actually the main lead right here. Not good at all. And then adding the layers. Pretty much just like copy and paste the effects and then just found like a different sound. And then one more layer. So if you're wondering what that little part right there is, like right here, where this sounds like super out of key, it's going to be a frequency shifter, if I can figure out where it's at. Yeah, so this is actually the group for the leads. I had to cut a bunch of peaks out as because it's not good. And then we got our EQ. I added like a little peak right here. And then we got Mix Shell. Mix Shell is a good preset for trying to glue together all your synths. We have kind of a lot of reverb on it. And then these are just utilities because it turns up and down in certain different spots that I need it to kind of do a thing at. And then this frequency shifter is actually what you hear at this part right here. Just kind of thought it was a cool effect, just turning on the ring mod at that one little part. So yeah, we start introducing the synths right there, and then we're gonna get to the drop, which is pretty much what I started with. I started with my drums. I use a lot of the same drums in like almost all my songs, almost. I usually have like a kind of a lot of different snare groups, just kind of see which one I like the most, and I kind of pick and choose from there. It's 4 different snares. Jake Man's on boy snare, shout fed up. Those reverse snare fills, something I like learned to do like 4 years ago, and it's kind of remembered to do that on this track. So it's kind of like sucking the snare back in, but I kind of have it different. Just that way, it's kind of a little bit different on each variation. I think that's pretty much it for like the drums. And I just got like my rides I use and everything. And this is Jordan Odegaard's crash that he gave me back in like 2016. I still use it. Then I have this like loop I've been using right here. So yeah, all about like getting the rhythm of the drums. And then once I have that, I started doing more vocal stuff. I usually try to do like a vocal layer on top of the drums, or just in the drop in general, is because it adds a lot of it's really subtle, but it adds like a lot of detail to it. So we're gonna have this layer right here. This is Josh saying "oh," I believe. Or I think this is like a hit or something, and I pitched it up by 24, which is really high. And then I have, this is where he's gonna be saying "oh." I have this layer right here too. Atmospheres, baby, atmospheres. And then we put this one right here, add it with it. So once I had those layers, that's when I kind of brought in my leads. Well, yeah, my leads, which is just gonna be like the bass note of the chord, kind of going up, and then yeah, just pretty much playing the chord, and then to the top. It's super simple stuff. And then we got all my saws, which I actually use a lot of saw layers. Super kind of big on saw layers. So to kind of go over the saw layers, we have this little kind of like an ARP layer on top, just kind of add a little to the high end a little bit. So we have our main group right here, Havoc saws. Actually, this comes from Havoc Roth. It's like 4 massive things, and then 4 things of massive. I think 1 of silent, which sound like this. If you want to sell my chords, same mistake, here they are. Have fun, enjoy. And then we're adding a little bit more. This is actually kind of light for my saws. I usually have way more layers than this. We got this bad boy right here, which is just going to be another massive. We got this bad boy. And that's this serum. I'm pretty sure I can unfreeze this, maybe, possibly. Yeah, it's this serum 16 saws. Super simple, a little bit detuned, the standard. So you always gotta have your high leads on your saws. It's kind of playing the harmonies, which my leads are always, I don't know, I feel like I make really annoying music if like everything was soloed, but all together kind of comes together. So we have this. that sounds really annoying by itself, but altogether it sounds. So then underneath our basses, we gotta have like the MIG is saying on saws, which I like what I hear like a lot of people do when they make melodic music. It's like they don't have like a strong enough mid layer, which is like the grit. You gotta have the grit. You gotta have meat. Yeah, so this is gonna be my like mid layer. And it's just gonna be a Reese. That's from Silence actually. No, it's actually Serum. This is going to be another serum. It's just going to be just like the standard patch with Redux on it. And that's literally just to give it like kind of like a ring effect to it. And then we have, this is just going to be, I'm pretty sure it's like the same. No, this is a different bass underneath. So when you add all the annoying leads and all the basses and the mid basses, you're gonna have yeah, and then with the leads, this is actually just gonna be like a group. And I actually do like a lot of processing on most things, but a lot of it's off, so you can just ignore most of it. So we got the washout. It's kind of, I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if I'm even using the washout. Oh, I am. Okay. And that's just kind of giving it this like kind of fade effect at the end. So we got our little EQ, just kind of taking out the most of the low end on it, and we got another EQ which is going to be adding high end, which I probably shouldn't have. I think it was like probably like a note from Monstercat to add it. This filter is not really doing much. This is just a compressor that's actually I don't think doing anything. This is actually a multi-band compressor. It's just pretty much OTT in theory, pretty much. And most of the stuff is off. This is kind of stuff I've been using over the past, and it's just kind of quick access. Like if I want to add like an LFO, like I have my LFOs here. If I need to use like certain filters, I have all my filters right there. So it's just kind of easy access, kind of so that way I can go fast through things. And then here's another EQ. I probably actually don't need to use all these EQs. This is probably just me like spitting out ideas. I'm like, oh, maybe we should add this, maybe we should add this. So it's kind of, it gets kind of messy. Yeah, like I said, most of the stuff is actually off. Got my side chain. Always got a side chain, baby. This is actually the side chain from my Raise Your Weapon remix with Rubin. And I just found like the side chain has always just been really good for like really like pumpy basses and whatnot. Actually, a lot of this actually came from my Raise Your Weapon remix. Like some of the saws and the Reese group came from the Raise Your Weapon remix. If you haven't heard that, one of my favorite songs I've ever been a part of. Oh, you gotta have like the effects, like the glass on the brakes. If you've heard any Francis Derelle song, you've heard these. I use those haze and like everything. Those are like my favorite things. So all together, with everything put together, with all the vocal effects. And let me just emphasize once I play it, like if I take out the vocal effects, how much of a difference it makes, even though it's like not that like prominent, like straightforward, it's such a huge difference. So if I take these out, you might not be able to hear the difference, but I definitely can. Just like such simple things that just add and make the whole track a whole lot better. All right, so then we got the second half.
Things unresolved, maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I
So pretty much it's mostly the same as the beginning, but I added this little bloop in. It's like my little dead mouse thingy, the silent. I think I use like this on like almost everything too, and it's kind of just opening up as time goes on. I was feeling pretty lazy for the drum part. I really didn't want to do it, but I feel like I needed to make it a little bit different. So these are actually gonna be Lindrums. If you don't know what Lindrums are, they're like kind of like a 80s kind of sounding drums. I don't know how to explain that. Is that right? 80s sounding drums sounds good to me. Yeah, I use a lot of Cashmere stuff just because it's easy access and everything sounds good. But so that paired with like my Lindrum stuff is just gonna be this sound right here. So it's just like super on the beat, super simple stuff. So then we get to the part, which is actually my favorite part of the song, which is this right here.
I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance, and I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
So I feel like with a lot of songs on the second half, if you have like that takeaway section, it just adds so much more emotion to it, makes it like the second part. I feel like the second part of your song should always be something special. Like the intro is cool because it gets like the person listening. First drop, awesome, keeps people engaged. But like once you get to the second break, you gotta like make that like, gotta have that emotional, like you're at EDC, you're with your freaking best friends, and you're crying to this. Like that's like my whole goal. I don't know, sounded good. But so pretty much what I do is I take away all the instruments, and this is going to be the piano playing its little sound like freaking Beethoven over here. So yeah, I'm actually really bad at like writing like melodies just because like I don't have like any, I don't know, music theory, so I kind of just guess all this stuff, and it ended up sounding good. Like the piano part sounded good. These plugs are actually just playing, I think, the accent parts of like this stuff right here. So these little accent notes right here, I'm pretty sure that's what the plug's playing, but it's going to be in a higher octave. I think it's like in the 4 range or something. Yeah, and then I don't know, it's kind of just like evolving as it goes on to make it a little bit different, you know? It's a little bit different. So yeah.
Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance.
And I had to do like a bunch of annoying utility automation because like the plugs kind of get lost at some parts. Like some notes play louder and then some notes will play quieter. So I had to do like stupid automations to get it to like get it all to glue together. So this part was a little bit annoying to do because it's just like super tuned in automation on like one note. So annoying, but you know, it's worth it. Sounds good. And then as this part build too, I'm just adding it back in all like the stuff from the original that's supposed to be here anyways, and like the takeaway part, and I'm just putting it back in so that way it's just.
What if I can't walk away? You got me standing.
And Josh does have a little bit of he kind of varies his the way he sings. He has a little bit more emotion into this part, so you'll see I actually have more automation volume. I use like a lot of utility because there's always like certain like words that will be louder and like it'll get locked, like it'll be too high in the mix, and there'll be like one word that's like a lower, so it's kind of hard to like tune them in. So I use kind of volume automation like volume automation, kind of fine tune everything. Like I said, what's the same with like the plugs, it is really freaking tedious. Yeah, it is really tedious, but it gets the job done. So yeah, I think right here is where he changes, which is why it's a different color, I believe. Yeah, so purple is where he kind of sings different, a little bit more emotion. Like right here.
What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
I still get chills for that vocal. It's like when I made this song, I just knew it was like something like when he sent me that vocal, like I just knew like I have to like destroy the production or else I'm trash. So so for drop 2, it's almost a repeat of drop 1, but you'll get like this little like kind of takeaway part at the beginning of the drop. So yeah, as this comes in, it has like some claps, some like pan claps right here, that like booty shaking clap. And then the saws have an LFO on them. I'm pretty sure one saw layer goes up by like an octave or something. Yeah, so I have this layer go up by octave. And this is kind of this make it a little bit different. So one thing that is a little bit different that you can't really hear in the final version, because once again I didn't master it, Monstercat mastered it actually, was and I produced with a master chain on, which is probably a mistake, but I couldn't really, when I export it and send the Monstercat, I didn't really know that this part was kind of not as prominent. But yeah, with this part, it does get like the leads do get a little bit like more dramatically like epicer, more epicer, I don't know, on the B part. So they're once again doing the utility trick to get my volumes right. There's probably an easy way to do this, but knowing me, all my I just produce so dumb and complex, it's just kind of necessary. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the drop. And then like we have our outro. Oh, one thing that does happen on the second drop, I do a drum change. So I go into, that's why there's actually so many snares in here. So, and these are like dubstep snares right here. Like this is more dubstepy, and then right here I go to like rhythm snares. So pretty much what I do is I just kind of take off the first transient of the snares, because when you're layering your kick, your snare on top of your kick, you don't want that first transient to kind of interrupt. I don't know if I even EQ'd my snares because, oh, I did at this part. Okay, normally when I do snares, I don't even EQ them. Oh yeah, I think it automates. No. Oh yeah, it does automate. I just don't know where to. Oh yeah, it's right here. So on this part, it does automate to kind of take out 120 hertz. Yeah, I love me some rhythm snares. So yeah, only thing I really did is just add this layer, this silent snare right here, just to give them like that rhythm, like over it. But yeah, so like normally I don't EQ out the low end of my snares. I actually barely EQ out my drums at all, period. Like I think if I were to like look at all this, it'd probably be like simple. Like if you look at all my EQs, I literally just low cut everything. If I even do anything on it, like if you look at most of it, I'm just taking out the low end. Yeah, I don't really do much EQing. Mostly because I don't know what I'm EQing. I just kind of try to like clean things up. Like that's why I don't do additive EQ much, because like I feel like if you choose the right sound, you don't really need to add anything to it most of the time. So you like have everything built up correctly and you're layering correctly. You don't really need to add much to it. Just my theory. Who knows if I'm wrong? Probably am. But yeah, so at this part you'll hear like the rhythm change. Oh, actually, this is supposed to be on. Also, one thing, if you ever like listen closely to like my like productions, you'll hear like this clock. I use this a lot. I actually use that in like a lot of my tracks as well. Super subtle. I think like Kramek probably does like the same thing in his tracks. Like a lot of our stuff has like that clock in it. So yeah, I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more dramatic on the end, so that's why you'll see like these little breaks right here, and then like the long exaggerated ending on the piano. And yeah, that's pretty much how Sam is Sick was made. Yeah, turn on notifications. I'll be uploading more stuff to my YouTube as well, and that's just youtube.com/Fransis Derelle. All right, y'all. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Deuces.